What if the loaf of bread you brought home yesterday isn't as safe as you think? What if the sandwich you just made for your child contains hidden mold, banned chemicals, or worse, ingredients that the FDA has forced companies to recall? Bread has always been called the staff of life. But in today's world, that staff is cracking. In just the past 2 years, major recalls have shocked shoppers at Costco, Walmart, and other stores across the U.S. So the question is simple. Can you really trust the bread in your kitchen right now? Welcome to BizWorld Explorer, where we expose the truths behind the products we trust the most. And in today's report, we're revealing the 5 bread brands suddenly recalled, leaving even loyal Costco and Walmart shoppers stunned. Stick around, because what you'll hear today might completely change the way you shop for bread forever. Brand number 1. Great Value, Walmart's signature brand. When you think of Walmart, one of the first things that comes to mind is great value. It's the brand millions of Americans recognize instantly. Budget-friendly, widely available, and marketed as a reliable everyday choice. For years, families on tight budgets have leaned on great value bread as a household staple, believing it was both safe and affordable. But recent recalls have revealed a darker side to this familiar blue packaging. In May 2024, the FDA made a shocking announcement. Several batches of great value sandwich bread were being recalled across 18 states. The reason? Undeclared sesame seeds. On the surface, this might not sound alarming, but for those with sesame allergies, even trace amounts can cause anaphylaxis, a severe, life-threatening reaction. The bread was marketed as plain, safe for everyday use, but due to cross-contamination in the production facility, sesame made its way into loaves that were never supposed to contain it. Families only discovered the issue when hospital visits started piling up. This wasn't a one-off mistake. Back in late 2023, Walmart had already faced another scandal when reports of premature mold growth surfaced. Consumers shared disturbing photos online. Loaves with slimy patches, dark green mold spots, and even insect fragments trapped inside sealed bags. What made it worse was that many of these loaves were still weeks away from their printed expiration dates. Imagine buying bread one day only to find it rotting in your pantry a few days later. So, why does this keep happening? According to former bakery employees, Walmart pushes aggressively for longer shelf life than most bread can realistically handle. To achieve this, factories often rely on heavy preservatives and faster turnover in hot storage conditions. While this may keep costs low and shelves full, it also compromises the natural stability of bread. The result? Loaves that may look fine on the outside, but spoil much faster once they reach your home. The health risks go far beyond just mold or allergens. One commonly used additive in mass-market bread is calcium propionate, a mold inhibitor. While legal and widely used, studies have linked it to headaches, migraines, and even digestive issues when consumed frequently. For elderly Americans, people with weaker immune systems, or families depending on great value as a daily staple, these hidden risks quietly build up over time. The tragedy is that for many households, especially those living paycheck to paycheck, Walmart bread feels like the only affordable option. But when a loaf that's supposed to save you money ends up sending someone to the hospital, the hidden cost is far higher than the sticker price. So, what's the safer option if you shop at Walmart? Skip the great value bread aisle and head to the market-side artisan section instead. These loaves don't last as long, but they come with fewer additives, cleaner ingredients, and a taste much closer to real, fresh bread. Sometimes, paying just a little extra upfront protects your family's health in the long run. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried Walmart's great value bread? If yes, what was your experience? Did you find it safe, or have you faced problems too? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Brand number 2, Kirkland Signature, Costco. If there's one store brand that has built near unshakable trust among shoppers, it's Costco's Kirkland Signature. For many families, Kirkland is not just a brand, it's almost a guarantee of quality. People choose it over big-name labels without a second thought. After all, Costco has carefully built its reputation as the warehouse club that puts value and quality first. But in recent years, especially in 2023 and 2024, even this trusted label has been rocked by unexpected recalls that left loyal customers feeling betrayed. In March 2024, Costco shocked its members by recalling shipments of Kirkland multigrain sandwich bread. The reason was alarming. Traces of metal shavings had been detected in multiple loaves. These weren't harmless specks of dust. They came from a malfunctioning piece of bakery equipment that allowed fragments of steel to slip into the dough before baking. Now, imagine this scenario. You make yourself a sandwich, take a bite, and suddenly feel something sharp scrape against your teeth or gums. That's exactly what some shoppers described. Others even complained about a strange metallic taste weeks before the official recall notice went public. For children and seniors who are more vulnerable, swallowing even a small shard could lead to internal bleeding, choking hazards, or emergency surgery. The backlash was swift. Costco's online community forums filled with frustrated members asking how something so dangerous could slip past quality control. For many, the incident was not just about the bread. It was about the breach of trust. People buy Kirkland precisely because they believe it's safer than cut-rate alternatives. But this recall showed that even Costco isn't immune from the problems of rushed mass production. And this wasn't the only stumble. Just a few months earlier, in August 2023, Costco had to recall its organic whole wheat bread. The problem? It contained undeclared dairy proteins. On shelves, the bread was promoted as vegan-friendly, a popular selling point for shoppers with plant-based diets. But due to contamination at the supplier level, traces of milk proteins slipped into the mix. For most people, this might not sound catastrophic, but for anyone with severe lactose intolerance or dairy allergies, it could mean violent allergic reactions, hospital visits, or worse. One of the hidden dangers with Costco recalls is the very thing members love about the store. Bulk buying. Customers often purchase multiple loaves of bread, freezing them to last for weeks or even months. That means a contaminated batch doesn't just sit on pantry shelves. It sits in freezers, waiting to be consumed long after the recall announcement. Families on tight schedules, who rely on their freezer stockpile, might not even realize they're eating recalled bread until it's too late. The bigger picture here is this. Even brands that feel unshakably reliable can make mistakes. Kirkland has a loyal fan base, but like any massive operation, it faces challenges in supply chain management and quality control. Bread is produced at scale, equipment fails, suppliers cut corners, and sometimes dangerous slip-ups reach customers. So, what's the safer route if you shop at Costco? Skip the heavily mass-produced packaged breads when possible and head straight to Costco's in-house bakery section. Their fresh sourdoughs, baguettes, and artisan loaves often contain only the basics: flour, water, yeast, and salt. They don't last as long on your counter, but that's actually a good sign. Fewer preservatives mean fewer chemicals, and while the shelf life is shorter, the health trade-off is worth it. Now I want to hear from you. What's your opinion about Kirkland Signature bread? Have you tried it? And if yes, how was your experience? Do you still trust it after these recalls? Or are you thinking twice now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know your take. Brand number 3. Sara Lee. When it comes to bread brands in America, few names carry the weight of Sara Lee. For decades, this brand has been part of family kitchens, with moms and dads trusting it enough to make sandwiches for school lunches, picnics, and everyday meals. The brand built its reputation on being wholesome, family-friendly, and reliable. But in recent years, that carefully polished image has taken some serious hits. In early 2024, Sara Lee faced a recall that stunned loyal customers across the country. The product involved was their extremely popular artisanal bread, known for its thick slices and artisanal branding. On the surface, artisanal looked like a healthier, premium choice compared to regular sandwich bread. But hidden inside some of these loaves were plastic fragments. The source of the contamination was traced back to a damaged conveyor belt in one of Sara Lee's production plants. Pieces of the belt broke off and got baked right into the bread. The FDA didn't take this lightly. They labeled it a Class 1 recall, which means the product posed serious health risks. Imagine biting into what you think is a soft, fluffy slice of bread, only to hit a sharp chunk of plastic. For adults, it could cause choking or mouth injuries, but for children and seniors, the risk was even more severe. Potential internal injury requiring surgery. Sadly, this wasn't the first time Sara Lee bread had been in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. Back in 2022, Sara Lee buns were recalled because of undeclared soy. This mistake led to allergic reactions in children whose parents trusted the packaging to be accurate. Allergy sufferers rely on food labels for their safety. And when a company as big as Sara Lee fails at something this basic, it raises serious questions about their production practices. And it's not just about recalls. Even when Sara Lee bread is technically safe, the ingredient list tells another story. Pick up a loaf, and you'll find a long lineup of additives most people can't even pronounce. Common ones include DATM, diacetyl tartaric acid esters of monoglycerides, dough conditioners, emulsifiers, and artificial sweeteners. These chemicals are all legal, yes, but several studies have linked them to gut inflammation, obesity, headaches, and even insulin resistance. So while Sara Lee markets products like artisano with words such as artisanal, bakery style, and wholesome, the reality is far less romantic. True artisanal bread is made with just a few ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. But Sara Lee's loaves are closer to ultra-processed food than authentic bread. They are designed to stay soft for weeks on the shelf, not to provide natural nutrition. If you're looking for healthier alternatives, the solution is simple. Skip the Sara Lee shelf. Visit a local bakery, or even grab fresh bread from Costco's in-house bakery section. The difference is obvious. Shorter ingredient lists, fewer preservatives, and real bread that may not last as long, but will always be better for your health. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried Sara Lee bread before? If yes, what was your experience with it? And after hearing about these recalls and hidden ingredients, would you still buy it again? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters. If you're finding this video helpful so far, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss these shocking food recall updates. And don't forget to comment below what topic you'd like to see in the next video. Your idea might just become our next upload. Brand number 4, Nature's Own. When you hear the name Nature's Own, what comes to mind? Probably purity, simplicity, and the idea of something wholesome and good for you. Their advertisements are carefully designed to paint that exact picture. Golden wheat fields swaying in the wind, smiling farmers with baskets full of fresh loaves, and slogans like, "Goodness is in our nature." It sounds like the kind of bread you could trust to put on your family's table, right? But the reality behind the label is far less comforting. In late 2023, Nature's Own bread was recalled across several states for a truly alarming reason: Listeria contamination. Now, this isn't just your average mold issue. Listeria is a dangerous bacteria, and what makes it especially scary is that it thrives even in refrigerated conditions. Unlike other foodborne bacteria that die off in the cold, Listeria can survive and even spread in your fridge. The health risks tied to Listeria are no small matter. Pregnant women are particularly vulnerable. A single contaminated slice could potentially lead to a miscarriage. Seniors and people with weakened immune systems are also at high risk, as Listeria infections can spread into the bloodstream, causing severe and sometimes fatal complications. While the contaminated loaves were pulled quickly, reports of hospitalizations had already surfaced in the Midwest before the recall was fully enforced. For many customers, this was a rude awakening. People who thought they were buying the safest and healthiest bread on the shelf suddenly found themselves questioning whether the comforting name Nature's Own was just a clever marketing illusion. But the trouble with Nature's Own doesn't stop with one recall. This brand has also faced ongoing criticism for misleading labels. Take their 100% whole wheat bread, for example. It sounds straightforward. You'd expect it to be entirely made of whole grains. Yet, investigations have revealed that many of their products contain large amounts of enriched white flour mixed with just enough whole wheat to technically qualify under labeling rules. A 2022 test by Consumer Reports exposed that Nature's Own honey wheat bread contained nearly 30% refined flour, even though the front packaging suggested a completely healthy, whole grain product. Imagine thinking you're making a healthier choice, only to learn you're still eating a significant amount of processed white flour. And then comes the sugar problem. You wouldn't expect bread, a supposed health food, to rival desserts in sweetness. But some slices of Nature's Own honey wheat actually pack more sugar than a small cookie. For diabetics or seniors trying to carefully manage blood sugar levels, this healthy bread can become a hidden trap. No wonder shoppers began to feel betrayed. One viral TikTok captured the frustration perfectly. A woman reading the label out loud and then exclaiming, "If this is nature, then nature is lying to us." That video alone sparked thousands of comments from people who said they too had been fooled by the comforting branding. So what's the safer alternative? Many nutritionists recommend looking at Ezekiel bread, usually found in the freezer aisle. Unlike Nature's Own, Ezekiel uses sprouted grains, no preservatives, and no added sugars. It's pricier, yes, but it actually matches the health-conscious image that brands like Nature's Own only pretend to deliver. At the end of the day, bread isn't just bread anymore. It's marketing, branding, and hidden ingredients. And it's up to us as consumers to read labels carefully instead of blindly trusting a name. Now let me ask you, have you ever used Nature's Own bread? If yes, what was your experience with it? Do you still trust this brand after hearing about its recalls and misleading labels? Share your opinion in the comments. Your story might help someone else make a safer choice. Brand number 5, Brownberry / Oroweat. When it comes to store-bought bread, many shoppers think of Brownberry or Oroweat if you're in certain regions of the US as the premium option. The packaging is rustic, the slices are thick, and the marketing screams quality. It's the kind of bread that feels like an upgrade, hearty texture, better ingredients, and a sense that you're choosing something healthier and safer than the cheaper loaves stacked on the same shelves. But in February 2024, That image came crashing down. Bimbo Bakeries USA, the parent company behind Brownberry and Oroweat, announced a serious recall. The reason shocked shoppers: foreign material contamination. Specifically, small pieces of wire mesh had been found in batches of sandwich bread. These metal fragments came from broken sifting equipment in one of their Midwest factories. The FDA classified this as a Class 1 recall, the highest level of danger, because the risk of injury was real. Imagine biting into your sandwich only to find a shard of wire lodged inside. It wasn't just unpleasant. It could have led to cuts, broken teeth, or even internal injuries if swallowed. The recall directly affected shoppers in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. But because Brownberry and Oroweat distribute nationally, the ripple effects were felt all across the U.S. And here's the concerning part: this wasn't an isolated incident. Back in 2022, Oroweat's whole grain bread was recalled after it was discovered to contain undeclared sesame. For people with sesame allergies, that was potentially life-threatening. Later that same year, Brownberry faced yet another issue: mold growth inside sealed packages. Mold isn't unusual if bread sits around for too long, but in this case, the mold appeared inside loaves that were still within their best buy dates, suggesting deeper problems with storage and distribution practices. Even beyond the recalls, there's the issue of misleading health claims. Many shoppers pick up Brownberry or Oroweat thinking they're getting a genuinely healthy product. Labels like multigrain and whole grain sound impressive, but in reality, many of these loaves are still made mostly from refined white flour. A sprinkle of seeds or a touch of food coloring makes the bread look hearty, but nutritionally, it's not much different from the cheaper loaves sitting nearby. And let's talk about sugar. Some varieties of Brownberry bread pack up to 4 grams of sugar per slice. That might not sound like much, but when you stack 2 slices together for a sandwich, you're already close to the sugar content of half a glazed donut before you've even added peanut butter, jelly, or any other sweet spreads. For families trying to cut back on sugar, or for diabetics managing their diet, that's a hidden danger that most people wouldn't suspect in something marketed as premium. For many loyal customers, this has been a harsh reality check. Paying extra for what you think is a safer, higher quality bread doesn't always protect you from the same industrial shortcuts that plague cheaper options. It's the same factory processes, the same preservatives, and sometimes even the same risks, just packaged in a fancier bag with a higher price tag. So, what's the safer choice? Nutritionists often recommend either buying from regional bakeries, where bread is fresher and made in smaller batches, or opting for brands like Dave's Killer Bread. While still mass-produced, Dave's has stricter ingredient standards, fewer preservatives, and clearer labeling, making it a more transparent alternative to the premium illusion offered by Brownberry and Oroweat. Now, here's my question for you. Have you ever bought Brownberry or Oroweat bread? If yes, what was your experience like? Did you ever feel like you were getting the premium quality they promised? Or do you think it's just clever marketing? And after hearing about these recalls, do you still trust this brand? Share your honest opinion in the comments. Your feedback could help others make a better choice at the grocery store. Bread is supposed to be the simplest food of all time. Flour, water, yeast, salt, that's it. But in today's industrial food world, those 4 ingredients have been replaced by dozens of chemicals, preservatives, and shortcuts. And when even trusted names like Walmart's Great Value, Costco's Kirkland, Sara Lee, Nature's Own, and Brownberry face recalls for mold, allergens, foreign materials, and bacteria, the truth becomes clear. The bread on America's shelves isn't always safe. So, what can you do? Always check recall alerts on the FDA and USDA websites. Read ingredient labels. If it has more than 8 to 10 ingredients, ask yourself why. Support local bakeries or clean label brands with shorter shelf lives. Fresh bread may not last as long, but it also won't poison you slowly. Remember, food companies bank on your silence. But every time you read a label, ask a question, or share the truth, you take back control. This was BizWorld Explorer, bringing you the facts that corporations would rather you ignore. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more eye-opening reports, and drop a comment below. Which bread brand shocked you the most? Because when we stay informed, we stay safe. Until next time, take care and think twice about what's on your plate.